We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
It is so good to be among you, finally. You all know how to do the warmest welcome.
They do.
Keep that up. Thank you. My name again is Reverend Christin Green. I use she, her pronouns, and it is my absolute delight to be here this day. I also extend gratitude to your former minister who left me generously with a pitcher of water from your previous water communions, which means we will be able to incorporate the waters of the past into the waters of the present and create something unique for our future together.
Some of you have brought water with you this morning from faraway places. Some of you have brought it from your tap. And some of you will take the water from these pitchers and lay upon it an intention of your own. No matter the source, this water is made sacred and holy by our presence here today.
As you may have read earlier this week in my monthly blog email, for me the question is not, where is your water from? But instead, what does your water hold? Does it hold memories, grief, joy, hope, faith, love? Whatever intention, energy, prayer, or meditation that you give this water, it will hold it gracefully for you. And together, our intentions, energies, prayers, and meditations will all be held in one vessel, symbolizing our unity and our diversity.
The original creators of the water communion ritual are the familiar hymn writer Carolyn McDade, who wrote The Spirit of Life, among other hymns in our songbook, and lay member Lucille Shook Longview of East Langston, Michigan. When they created this ritual around 1980, they wrote, Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life. And the amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. We now realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We choose water as our symbol of our empowerment.
Our hope is that you feel a sense of awe, reverence, and empowerment through the simple actions of this ritual. May we each embody a new story of creation together. And at the end of our service today, I'm going to invite all who are willing and able to join me as I take some of this holy water outside to our labyrinth and memorial plaque on our grounds to return some of our collective to our ancestors, to the earth, to the land. I will also save some and boil it for future water communions and child dedications and rites of passage that call for a water blessing, and also as a reminder that we are fluid and we are one. I will begin our ritual today by adding the water from last year's water communion to our vessel. May we each come to know and trust that the collective waters of our past and present will continue flowing in support and sustenance of this community and all that it touches.
So in a moment, Gretchen will play some music as we begin our ritual together. We will invite our choir to come forward first to add their water to our shared vessel. The ushers will then assist by inviting each row of the congregation to come forward to add your water in turn. If you are unable to rise in body to participate today, please let an usher know, and they will pour some water into our shared vessel on your behalf. So let us begin. This water is sacred. It is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each drop contains, the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith.
This
This
water
water is sacred.
May it continue to flow through this community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of its members. This water is sacred.
May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred.
May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of a collective responsibility to one another and to the world.
This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors. This water is sacred.
May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes. This water is sacred.
In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred.
In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow and pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. This water is sacred. Amen. What a blessing it is to be with you on this sacred day, to engage in meaningful ritual, to sing together in community, to share our joys and sorrows is a blessing. And out of all the places you could be this morning, you have made a decision to be here. And I am especially grateful for each of your presence. I want to begin this morning with a brief adapted reading from Adrienne Marie Brown's book entitled Emergent Strategy: Shaping Change, Changing Worlds. Remember, you are water. Of course, you leave salt trails. Of course, you're crying. Flow. P.S. If there happens to be a multitude of griefs upon you, individual and collective, or fast and slow, or small and large, add equal parts of these considerations. That the broken heart can cover more territory. That perhaps love can only be as large as grief demands. That grief is the growing up of the heart that bursts boundaries like an old skin or a finished life. That grief is gratitude. That water seeks scale, that even your tears seek the recognition of community. That the heart is a front line and the fight is to feel in a world of distraction. That your grief is a worthwhile use of your time. That your body will feel only as much as it is able to. That the ones you grieve may be grieving you. That the sacred comes from limitations. That you are excellent at loving. Whatever it is that you brought in with you this morning, be it water or thirst, grief or joy, struggle or celebration, know that you are welcome here and that this message is for you. Our annual celebration of Ingathering is a faith tradition, marks the beginning of our new congregational year, a new chapter with new challenges and new opportunities. As I look out on this congregation this morning, and as I have met some of you over the past several weeks, I know I am in the presence of survivors. You have endured quarantine and separation, disease and death, arrivals and departures, change upon change upon change. The road has been muddy and rough at times, yet you are still here, healing, adapting, shape-shifting like water. So we mark this time as sacred each year with a water communion ritual on Ingathering Sunday. When you study religious texts and traditions from all across the world, you'll notice the common recurrence of water imagery and symbolism, along with reverent practices and carefully gleaned wisdom from the nature of water itself. Indigenous peoples have long believed that water is sacred and the home of divine beings and animals. Water has an important role in Japanese Shintoism as a great purifier, a giver, supporter, and sustainer of life. In Buddhism, water symbolizes life, purity, clarity, and calmness. Water is revered in Hinduism for its power to purify and cleanse not only the body, but negative karma. Many holy Hindu places are situated along sacred rivers, one of the most famous being the Ganges River in India. Water is mentioned 722 times in the Bible. Christians believe that water represents life and rebirth. Rabbi Brian Feld notes that water, specifically that of wells, were the places in the Hebrew text where people gathered, strangers met, found hospitality, and sometimes even fell in love. And Unitarian Universalists practice this water communion every year, as we were reminded this morning, as a symbol of empowerment, as a way of honoring that from which we have come and that which sustains our lives. The author of the reading that began my sermon today, Adrienne Marie Brown, is an activist, social justice facilitator, and doula, living in Detroit, Michigan, a place where clean drinking water has been a major issue in recent years. She writes in her book, Emergent Strategy, about principles she's developed through her experience with organizing social justice movements and facilitating change. One of these principles inspired my sermon title and focus of today: change is constant. Be like water. We are in a pivotal moment in American history, in human history. Temperatures are heating up, icebergs are melting, water is rising, and many in the United States and beyond are fearful that democracy is at the risk of falling. Change is constant. Be like water. Brown expands on her principle in her second book, Holding Change, by adding directions to freeze the bowl and move like rapids when collective energy is flowing, You need to continuously transform to meet and guide the room. Less prep, more presence. In other words, Brown believes that we are called to behave like water in order to live our best and most effective lives. Adapt, shift form to improve function, move with power together when the time is right. My colleague, Reverend Renee Ruszolski, reflects on this concept as well. If you observe flowing waters in nature, such as rivers, or even the flow of melting snow in the spring runoff, you'll notice that while water is contained by the banks, it also changes the banks. We may not have complete control over changes, but we can learn to adapt and shape our response and help shape the change when we engage with it intentionally. There is so much we can learn from water. Allow me to provide 3 simple takeaways. 1, water takes the shape it fills. By becoming like water, we no longer let the circumstances have the effect over us, but instead adapt to it without destroying our own basic nature. Legendary martial artist Bruce Lee trained in a wide variety of martial arts styles until he realized that many of them were divisive and limiting in practice because of their rigid rules and structures. He propagated the philosophy of being like water and actively used this to create his own martial art, Jeet Kune Do, which was capable of adapting to any form of combat as needed, whether it be punches, kicks, or other techniques from the wide number of martial arts. He was focused on this idea of adaptability and even claimed that the Jeet Kune Do of the future would be different from the art he originally created, having adapted to the needs of that age, essentially filling a new container. This brings to mind the way we talk about Unitarian Universalism as a living tradition. We recognized the fluidity of life, the necessity of change, the adaptability required across time. Number 2, water shows everything that is. Water is meant to be clear. When it isn't clear, we understand that the water is contaminated and needs to be cleaned. We can think of water in this way as the ultimate clarity of vision that we must all aspire to have. This simply means that we see things exactly as they are without allowing other things like our limiting beliefs and emotional pain to come into the way. To achieve clarity, it is essential to first completely clear ourselves of any mental and emotional blocks that contaminate it. That's what allow ultimately for us to exercise wise decision making where it is needed. Number 3, water is powerful in a paradoxical way. Ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu is attributed with the following wisdom: water is fluid, soft, and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong. This quotation provides valuable advice for us to transform ourselves in order to live our lives to the fullest extent possible. Like water, we must strive to be fluid in our intelligence, soft toward ourselves and yielding toward the true transformational power of our inner selves. By being rigid and hard like a rock, we only serve to impose more limitations upon ourselves and are ultimately chipped apart by that which is soft and yielding. Change is constant. Be like water. Water takes the shape it fills. Water shows everything that is. Water is powerful in a paradoxical way. Remember, you are water. Water is sacred. You are sacred. Blessed be, may it be so, and amen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our worship service may be coming to an end, but our service to the world is just beginning. Remember, you are water. Change is constant. Be like water. Water is sacred. You are sacred. Go in peace.
We are living beneath the very big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in rain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. peering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, band together and be my guide. Loving lessons I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits